2 days of the 5 days that I was down there were good. The Sunday, the last day I was there at the rally was we were up and out at like 7. At this point, we met a few of the guys in Keystone, and then we did a ride, man, which was probably one of the best rides I've done in Sturgis. We went out to Keystone, like I said, met a few guys there, had a coffee and whatnot with the guys, and at that point we jumped on the bikes and went up to Mount Rushmore. We got our pictures. We took pictures at Mount Rushmore because a few people at this point hadn't ever been to Mount Rushmore. So we stopped so people could get a couple of pictures and stuff like that, and then we hit over to there we go. We took the back road from Mount Rushmore all the way behind Rushmore down towards Needles Highway, but we turned off. Instead of going left to Needles, we turned right to come in the back way to Deadwood. And yet it was a really awesome road. We went past the rivers and the lake and stuff like that. But I don't know what was going on at this point, because that back road from Keystone round the back there, turn right, and then head towards Hill City and Deadwood, there was just a huge, gigantic pack of bikes. And I'm talking this pack of bikes was probably easily 2 miles long, just bike after bike after bike after bike after bike. And I'll show you a little snippet now so you can see what I mean. But it was crazy. There must have been an organised ride going on at this point on the Sunday, whether it was the Legends ride or something like that. I don't know what it was. So if you do know what it was, please comment below and let me know what the ride was itself. But yeah, man, it was a beautiful day. It was a stunning day. It was blue skies like Sturgis normally is. And it was absolutely gorgeous. So we went down there. We came into the Deadwood sign where Wild Bill is. Welcome to motherfucking Deadwood! On the Deadwood sign, going in. But we turned left to go to Lead or Lead, depending on where you're from and how you say it. And we went over to the Boar's Nest for some lunch. Stroke brunch, if you like. And I'd never been to the Boar's Nest before. I'd heard about it, a couple of times previously, but we never had a chance to stop and go for some food. But I was thoroughly impressed, man, with the Boar's Nest. Great place. And it's literally just tucked in off the side of the road. Hundreds of bikes outside. But we were lucky. We got there pretty, between, I think it was like 10:30-ish, 11 o'clock-ish. So it wasn't really that stacked at this point for lunch. So we went in. I was super impressed with the way that the place looks, the atmosphere, the vibe, everything was brilliant. It was really cool. I parked up on the main road so I could do some filming and fling the drone up and stuff. But when we went in, we ordered food. We sat around the table. We had a great time. The beer, the food, the people, the atmosphere was fantastic. And I to be honest, it's probably now one of my favourite places to go in Sturgis, because I've been once and I'll go every single time from now on. Really, really cool place. You can get merch there as well, Boar's Nest merch and so on and so forth. But yeah, man, it was an awesome place. All the old cars outside, and it was really cool, really, really cool. So from there, once everybody had eaten, we jumped back on the bikes and we went down to Deadwood at this point. Actually, that's bollocks, Stevie. We didn't go straight from the Boar's Nest to Deadwood. We went and did Spearfish Canyon. That's what we did, not from the Deadwood. It loses my mind, man. Absolutely loses my mind. So yeah, we hit Spearfish Canyon. We went from the Boar's Nest to Spearfish Canyon. Never done spearfish before, and it was absolutely top notch. It was really cool, actually. The reason we didn't do it last year is because John said I did it a while back and I don't remember it, so it couldn't be that good. Well, actually, it was pretty awesome, to be fair. Really, really cool ride through. It was really, really good. Proper enjoyed it. And would I do it again? Absolutely. There was a couple of stops on the way through there, actually, where hundreds of bikes had parked and whatnot. So there was obviously some bars where you could stop and grab a bite to eat. We didn't do that. We just boosted straight through. We did stop at the falls, though. That was really cool to see. And I flung the drone up and did some footage for the drone, or for the YouTube channel. But yeah, it was really cool, actually. Really, really nice ride. Not, wasn't rapid. We weren't flying through there like 100 mile an hour. But it was a nice, relaxing, beautiful scenic ride. So if you haven't done Spearfish before, you need to go check it out. Anyway, back to me waffling crap. To the Tobacco Co. Because we wanted, obviously, to go and get some Sweet Janes and check out the new Deadwood Tobacco Company, which is still on Main Street of Deadwood, on Main Street, which is more towards the top end of Main Street in Deadwood this time, but it used to be further down, and it was like an underground bar stroke, cigar joint basically, and it was great, man. It had a fantastic atmosphere. Yes, you could smoke in there, so it was pretty smoky. So it wasn't very good for ventilation. I think this is probably one of the parts why they shifted from there and up to where they are now. But what a place, man! It was probably one of the coolest places I've been in Sturgis. Was the old Deadwood Tobacco Company underneath the hotel, underneath the Fairmont Hotel. But to be fair, they may have moved, but they still do awesome cigars. So yeah, we ended up in the new Deadwood Tobacco Co, and I was taken back about the size. I mean, the old one was pretty small, and the new Deadwood Tobacco Co it's quite massive. They still have the live band on. She's a mean-up woman, Lord. She never even told me goodbye. Yeah. Great band, 2 guys on stage at this point. It was a proper licensed bar. No liquor, just beer at this point, I think, from what I can remember. And the beer was great. The beer was awesome. The guy behind the bar, I can't remember his name, but he called me a wanker. Because a British saying a wanker. He was joking, obviously. We were having a bit of banter backwards and forwards. It was really cool. And we spent probably an hour and a bit in the Deadwood Tobacco Co, and it was really cool, man. It was. Was it as cool as the old place? For me, no. It's kind of lost its charm, if you like, but that's what happens when you move into a new place, and it's bigger and not as small and not as homely, if you like. But yeah, I still enjoyed myself, man. I still got some cigars and took them back with me to Canada. Do you have anything to declare, sir? No. So I brought some cigars back with me. Unfortunately, they'd run out of Sweet Janes, which I was fuming about, because they're my favourite Sweet Janes. They're really cool. So I couldn't get a box of Sweet Janes, so I ended up with a box of Zeros. Again, they have a sweet taste to them. They're really nice. Oh, fuck. But yeah, we ended up probably an hour and a half in Deadwood Tobacco Co. And for those of you that have seen the this year's full documentary on Sturgis, I'll leave a link up here, wherever the hell it is right now, then you'll know we had a good time. It was really cool. From there, I mean, Deadwood, bear in mind, it was the first weekend of the rally. And also bear in mind that, the first, up until this point, up until that Sunday of the first weekend of the rally, it was just rain, more or less, all the time. So I think everybody was cooked up in like bars and in, wherever they were staying. So there wasn't very many people out previous days, but that Sunday was absolutely chocker block packed with bikes and people, and it was what Sturgis is normally like, it was rammed. It was rammed, so we tried to park on Main Street in Deadwood. Not a chance in hell for, we had, how many bikes did we have? We probably had about 7 or 8 bikes, pack of 8 at this point, and there was no way, man, you were getting on Main Street, not unless you were a single bike and you could park, a little slot. But yeah, Deadwood was just absolutely packed, and rightly so, man. Everybody was out, it was great. So we ended up parking over by the old train station. Crazy, mate, isn't it?
Yes. Welcome to Sturgis 2023.
Now that parking in that train station area itself is normally alright. It's not the best because it does get rammed. But people play the game and they leave like lanes. So you get your bike out and go down the lanes and whatnot. But for whatever reason, people had decided to just park all over the show. And there was no lanes, so we kind of, when we parked up, everybody collectively said, shit, man, I hope we can get out, by the time we come back. But luckily enough, because there was people boxed in, man, left, right. People wouldn't leave a lane. They just dumped the bikes and away they'd go. And, they'd block people in and whatnot. This guy, I remember a guy, he was losing his mind, man, because he'd been boxed in by like 3, 4 bikes at this point. And he's like, what the fuck, who does this? And, he wasn't happy, man. He was not happy. And, you know, rightly so. You don't box people in, man. Play the game. But, yeah, I mean, like I said, it was all right. I mean, it was great, you know, for parking. We could all kind of park together-ish. I mean, I was up this end, the guys were down that end, but we were still in, you know, within a 50-metre radius of each other. But just look at this shit show here. Somewhere in there are our bikes. The question remains, can we get out? What do you reckon, boys and girls? Can we get out?
Might as well go back to the bar.
So we're gonna come out of the parking lot. We're gonna go down this street, and then we're gonna stay to the right. That road's gonna take.
It's easy for you to say. I'm riding the Black Harley. Go find that.
Find the Black Harley. So at that point, we all eventually managed to get out. We then headed over the back through the canyon, back road towards Sturgis at this point, from Deadwood to Sturgis. Those of you who know it, you'll know it's a great ride. Only a little canyon, but it's a great, you know, windy road, and it's maybe, what, half an hour from Deadwood to Sturgis going on that little road, twisties and whatnot. So then we hit Sturgis. Lizelle, we came in on Lizelle, that, you know, just a one-off main, and oh my god, I have never seen that many bikes in my entire fucking 3 times that I've been to Sturgis now. That's the busiest I have ever seen that road going in. Fuck me! So we've just come into Sturgis town itself. We're on Lizelle right now, which is the main, well, just one off Main Street, and it is like the busiest I've ever seen it. Like, oh my god, dude. What the fuck? It took us from the beginning of Lizelle, coming from Deadwood, where the traffic lights are, and the reserve unit, the Army Reserves, are on the right hand side, the engineers, I think it is. It took us half an hour to nearly 45 minutes to get from that end of Lizelle to the other end of Lizelle, getting out towards the chip. 45 minutes, because it was just start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. People's bikes were overheating. There was a guy at the side of the road, you know, you said, "You all right, dude?" He's like, "Yeah, my bike's overheated," because, like I said, at this point, it was taking 45 minutes because it was so bloody busy. It was chocker, like rammed. There was cars, there was trucks, there was bikes, there was everything. You know, everybody trying to get everywhere at this point, because it was the first weekend of the rally, and also the first day that the blue skies were out and it wasn't raining. It took us 35 minutes to get down from the beginning of Lizelle in Sturgis to the Iron Horse Saloon. 35 minutes. Lizelle on Main Street, the full on, you know, Sturgis is packed. Holy crap, man, I have never seen it this busy. Like an anniversary. Like I said, rightly so, but it was packed, absolutely packed. We did contemplate going into Main Street, but I think we were planning on going over to the Spare Creek Saloon at this point, which is out past Full Throttle, in Newell. I think the town is called Newell. So yeah, we ended up spending 45 minutes trying to get out of that. So like I said, we wanted to go to Spare Creek Saloon, which was like out in Newell. So we headed out of the, we took the left. If you go right up to the chip, we took the left down to Full Throttle Saloon. Saloon, and we headed past Full Throttle, and the Spare Creek Saloon is probably maybe half an hour, 45 minutes past FTS, past the Full Throttle Saloon. On that same road, you just keep going, going. Eventually you'll see it on the right hand side. And it was it's the first time I've been to the Spare Creek Saloon, family run ranch. So what are the lesser known spots about 30 minutes outside of Sturgis, towards Newell. Is this place? This place. It's called the Spear Creek Saloon, and it's phenomenal, isn't it? It's really awesome. It's a working ranch actually. So you've got the saloon there, and obviously downstairs over there you've got the bar underneath. There's a guy who owns the place. Obviously he's doing some roping and stuff right now. But yeah, man, let's go check it out. It's really cool actually. And the family was actually there. The guy, when we got there, was roping, practicing roping and stuff and whatnot.
Wrist. Turn your wrist. Thumb down. When it comes in front of your face, thumb down, thumb down, thumb down, thumb down. And you just...
But it was so good. It really was. I absolutely loved that place. I fell in love with the place. Such an old, it was basically a log cabin. And when you go down the stairs in the log cabin, at the back of the log cabin is where the actual saloon was itself. Even though the cabin was a saloon as well. But there's like in the actual cabin itself, and then down the stairs is a big patio open area where you can get a drink as well. And it was phenomenal. It really was. And at this point, we were getting towards the end of the evening. The sun started coming down. It was kind of, oh, Jesus. So we've been on the go since 7. We've probably been on the go at that point. It probably was around 7 at that point, actually, by the time we got to Spear Creek Saloon. And, we spent probably maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the Spear Creek Saloon. Talking to the guy, talking to the owner, and one of the guys just had to go with the roping and stuff. It was great, man. It was really cool. So if you've never been to the Spear Creek Saloon, you got to go check it out, man. It's a really cool place. Go check it out next year for the 84th, 84th Sturgis Rally. So yeah, it was a pretty awesome place. I liked it. I really did. We stopped. We had a cigar and whatnot, and it was just chilled out. It was great, really cool. I don't know what happened here, but obviously the camera stopped recording for whatever reason at this point. So I'll tell you exactly what happened from that point on. Obviously from the Spear Creek Saloon, we then headed back. I mean, at this point it was getting dark. It was the sun was starting to go down, and it was getting dark pretty quick, to be honest. So we all went back to Sturgis Main Street. We then got the patches, your Sturgis patches. Where's my shit? Oh, it's over there. Your normal Sturgis patches, Sturgis 2023. We got them sewn on at one of the vendors on Lazelle, just off Main Street. And then from there we went back to the campground, and I started packing because I was leaving the following morning. And yeah, we had just a final chilled out night at Brad's camper. So I'll show you a clip now from day 2 of Brad and his camper. Good morning from Sturgis, day number 2. And as you can see, it's not raining right now, which is fantastic. I am at Tilford Gulch Campground, where I've been staying for the past 2 nights. I stayed in a cabin for 2 nights, but then this guy showed up right there, Brad, aka Iowa Hog Rider, and he's brought his caravan, aka, what do you call it over here? We call it a caravan. What do you call that?
Toy hauler.
A toy hauler, yeah. So he's brought his toy hauler with him, which hauls his toys, his bike. So how you doing, man?
Good. How you doing, brother?
Good, man. Great to see you, man. I really
too.
do. And thanks for letting me stay in your trailer, dude.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
So yeah, we're gonna hit the road today. We don't know where we're gonna go today. Again, we're not planned anything this year, so maybe over to Black Hills, Harley, maybe have a look around, see what's going on over there, maybe. But again, it will be weather dependent. It is due to rain again today, but it's not raining right now. Holy Lord, please don't rain.
20 minutes later.
But yeah, Brad's just been kind enough to allow me to wash the Scouts Glide, because after last night's concert at the Kickstands campground with Jasmine Kane, professional monkey thing,
fuck you!
Fuck me! Fuck me!
Fuck you!
Throw a decent party, I'll give you that! The road in and out, because it hoofed it down with rain most of the day yesterday, the road in and out was literally just mud. Like full on mud, because there's construction on that junction where kickstands is, and it was horrendous, man. It was just mud and gravel, and it was just, oh my god, the bike was disgusting, wasn't it, this morning?
It was pretty bad.
It was bad. It looked like it'd been dragged through the Dakar Rally. And then yeah, that was it, man. That was I got up bright and breezy following morning, left and headed back to Alberta. Took me, to be honest, I thought I was going to get absolutely drenched, soaking wet, because at this point it was still raining, you know, throughout the day and whatnot. I got up early. I think I left at like 6 a.m. And by 6:30, half an hour down the road, it was already started raining. I did get a little bit wet. I did have my waterproofs on, you know, my waterproof gear at this point, which was good. And then obviously at that point, I kept going up north towards through Montana and whatnot, back to Alberta. And thankfully, by the grace of God, I was lucky enough to get through that initial little bit of downfall right the way back up to Alberta, you know, whatever it was, 14, 15, 16 hours later, by skating around all the storms. So it was a great ride back, man. It really was. It was phenomenal ride back. But yeah, overall, Sturgis this year, it was all right. I mean, yes, the rain was a big issue for most people. You know, it was stopped people, you know, doing what they're there to do, to ride, basically. But yeah, it was a really good rally. Yes, 5 days is, you know, would I have loved to have been riding more? Absolutely. Anybody that goes down there, like I said, goes there to ride. So would I have loved to? Yes, absolutely, 100%. Am I gonna go next year? No, I'm not. Because I think we did more or less everything in 22 for the 82nd. It kind of took the shine off it last year for me, so I'm going to leave it a few years now to go back. Probably the 85th, if I'm honest. That's going to be the next one. I'd like to see an anniversary one for sure, because I imagine that day that everybody was out, that we were driving through Sturgis and whatnot, where it was absolutely rampacked. I imagine an anniversary one being the same as that, like constantly. I don't know, because I've never been, but if you've been on an anniversary, let me know down below if that's the same. But yeah, that's the plan, to go back for the 85th. Great time, we had a great time, you know, hanging out with Brad, Iowa Hog Rider, and John, Canadian Vet Rider. We had a great time. And everybody else that we met while we were down there, we met a hell of a lot of other YouTubers while we were down there, and just cool people. So yeah, that was it this year. Sturgis was awesome. It could have been way better, but it was still good. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed these little 3-part series of the recap of Sturgis. If you haven't seen part 1, go back and check it out. I'll leave a link up to you right now. But yeah, thanks very much for watching, guys. Stay safe wherever you are around the world, and remember, you'll never walk alone.